At 99 years old, Mel Brooks breaking his silence about Rob Reiner sent shockwaves through Hollywood, not because of scandal in the tabloid sense, but because of the weight his words carried. Brooks is not just a legendary filmmaker. He is a living institution whose career shaped comedy, satire, and American film culture for generations. When someone like Mel Brooks finally speaks plainly after decades of diplomacy, people listen closely. And what he revealed about his relationship with Rob Reiner was far more strained than fans ever imagined. For years, Brooks and Reiner were publicly linked through admiration and mutual respect. Rob Reiner, son of Carl Reiner, Mel Brooks' closest creative partner and dear friend, was often seen as part of the extended comedic family. Together, Mel Brooks and Carl Reiner created some of the most influential comedy in history, including The 2,000-Year-Old Man, a project that defined intelligent satire. Naturally, many assumed that Bond extended seamlessly to Rob Reiner. Behind the scenes, however, things were more complicated. In his later years, Mel Brooks has become increasingly reflective. At 99, he no longer feels pressure to maintain Hollywood illusions or smooth over uncomfortable truths. In a rare candid conversation, Brooks acknowledged that while he respected Rob Reiner's talent, their personal and creative relationship never truly aligned. He described a growing distance rooted not in one explosive argument, but in years of subtle disagreements, clashing sensibilities, and unspoken tension. According to Brooks, the core issue wasn't ego, it was philosophy. Mel Brooks built his career on irreverence, satire without apology, and comedy that offended everyone equally. He believed laughter should punch in all directions. Rob Reiner, on the other hand, evolved into a filmmaker and public figure driven strongly by moral messaging and political conviction. While Brooks never criticized Reiner's right to his beliefs, he admitted that the seriousness Reiner brought into public discourse made collaboration difficult and, at times, uncomfortable. What made Brooks' comments feel bad to fans was not anger, but disappointment. He spoke openly about feeling that comedy had become too cautious, too filtered, and too afraid of backlash, an environment he felt Rob Reiner, intentionally or not, represented. Brooks suggested that the fearless comedic spirit he shared with Carl Reiner was something Rob never fully embraced or understood, despite his upbringing around legends. Mel Brooks also touched on legacy, a sensitive subject at his age. He expressed sadness that modern comedy often feels divided and defensive rather than joyful and rebellious. While he never accused Rob Reiner of wrongdoing, the implication was clear. Brooks believed Reiner's worldview stood at odds with the kind of creative freedom that once defined their shared era. This ideological divide quietly eroded whatever closeness might have existed between them. For longtime fans, this revelation was jarring. Rob Reiner has long been seen as a torchbearer of classic Hollywood values, while Mel Brooks represents comedy without restraint. Hearing Brooks admit that he felt misunderstood, and at times distanced, by someone so closely connected to his greatest collaborator reframed decades of assumptions. At 99, Brooks also acknowledged regret. Not over things he said, but over conversations he never had. He admitted that silence sometimes feels safer than honesty, especially when family-like bonds are involved. But with Carl Reiner gone and time running short, Brooks felt it was finally appropriate to speak his truth, not to attack Rob Reiner, but to clarify history. What makes this moment especially powerful is its restraint. Brooks didn't rant. He didn't insult. He simply told his story as he lived it. Yet that calm honesty hit harder than any accusation could. Fans expecting a light-hearted anecdote instead heard a sobering reflection on how even shared legacies can fracture under changing values and generations. Mel Brooks' words served as a reminder that respect does not always mean agreement, and admiration does not guarantee closeness. At 99, he no longer felt the need to soften reality. His silence had protected others for years, but breaking it allowed him to finally speak for himself.